There's ample evidence of collusion in plain sight, but that is not the same thing as proof of a criminal conspiracy beyond a reasonable doubt.
There was, in plain sight, open collusion with the Russians.
The president acts on Russia's behalf. I don't need to see the Mueller report for that.
All right, Democrats getting their first crack at Attorney General Bill Barr, planning to turn a budget hearing into a grilling on the Mueller report.
Will they get the answers and the outcome they've been hoping for? Joining us with what we can expect is former U.S. Attorney Kendall Coffey. Thank you so much for your time this morning, sir. We appreciate it. I mean, look, Bill Barr said that he was going to release this in the next few weeks. I just can't imagine they're going to get many answers today. What do you think?
Well, I think he's going to have to say that the details are not available yet, premature to comment, and he can explain some of the reasons that he decided to issue some conclusions right now, which, by the way, he should be doing. The American public's been very, very focused on getting an answer. He provided the answer, but people that didn't like his conclusions are, of course, saying it wasn't enough and why this and why that. But I think his letter should pretty much have brought an end to this so-called collusion investigation.
Yeah, Kendall, Adam Schiff and a lot of the Democrats, they keep pointing to these two examples of collusion in plain sight. The president asking Russia to find those emails during that one debate, and then the Veselnitskaya meeting at Trump Tower. They say that is Russian collusion in plain sight. But here is part of AG Barr's summary on the Mueller report. This is Bill Barr saying the special counsel's investigation did not find that the Trump campaign or anyone associated with it conspired or coordinated with Russia in its efforts to influence the 2016 U.S. presidential election. And let's keep in mind, Bill Barr is still working with Bob Mueller on this. This is one of his biggest projects. If he was misrepresenting Bob Mueller, wouldn't Mueller say something about it?
Of course. Barr obviously has a great reputation, a lot of integrity, and he's not going to misdescribe a report that eventually is probably going to become public anyway. But I think what we may start to see at this hearing is Democrats try to pivot to their last gasp hope, which is the subject of obstruction. And we know that Barr said there was no obstruction. I think that was the correct analysis, not only based on the fact that the president has the right to hire and fire executive-appointed officers, but also obstruction has always been a crime of fabricating evidence or suppressing evidence or improperly influencing witnesses. These elements have never been crystallized in this scenario. So I think Barr's conclusion that there's no obstruction is something that's going to get pushed back on, but ultimately he's correct in his legal analysis.
You wonder why all of the people who for so long have been very clear in stating we have evidence of collusion, it is there in plain sight, why are they coming forward with it then? That's the big question.
Well, we're finding out that there really wasn't any kind of criminal conspiracy. That maybe there was a meeting in Trump Tower where one campaign wanted to see if there was op research on the other. That happens every day. That happens in every election. It's not a crime.
Right. Mueller clearly doesn't think that that is anywhere near collusion, or else he would have said so after this exhaustive 2-year investigation. Let's go over now. You've got Nunes talking about these 8 criminal referrals to the DOJ. This is looking into how the Trump investigation was handled, the FISA warrants. There's 8 names we're expecting here. Who do you think these names could be?
Well, I think there's going to be more than 8 names, because in some instances, for example, he's describing the global leak investigation. There were leaks all over the place, especially in the early months of the investigation by Mueller. And we've seen in cases that if DOJ really wants to push a leak investigation, they can get to the bottom of it. You may remember years ago it happened with Scooter Libby. Certainly Andrew McCabe was involved in leaking, and that leak was ultimately investigated and found to have established that he was lying in connection with an internal DOJ investigation. I think the names that we're going to see are going to be the ones we've been hearing all along. I think there should and will be a focus on a couple things. One is the FISA application, where it appears that there was important information that was left out. Was that an intentional omission or misrepresentation to the court? They're going to look at that. And then we've just got to examine ongoing things such as Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, who said in their FBI people at a high level were going to stop Trump from becoming president. In many respects, that's one of the most pernicious of all the things we've seen in the last couple of years. And that needs to be investigated, and the message needs to be stated that that kind of law enforcement effort to affect a democratic process of election, that must never happen again.
Okay. All right. And we'll see if anybody actually gets their feet held to the fire on this.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.